Kentucky lawmakers consider a bill to make it easier for some felons to move on after serving their time.
Lexington police discussed the violent start to the year after the city's fourth murder. Why they're calling it an anomaly.
Tonight's the night the winning numbers of the $1.5 billion Powerball jackpot will be drawn. We'll take you inside the studio where the numbers are picked.
This is WKYT News at 4:30.
Good afternoon to you. Kentucky lawmakers are considering a bill making it easier for some felons to re-enter society.
The bill has also led to the launch of a new coalition called Kentucky Smart on Crime to help push that legislation. WKYT's Phil Pendleton is in Frankfort with more on the proposal in our top story at 4:30.
Well, House Bill 40 would allow some crimes to be expunged from felons' criminal record. A hearing before a House Judiciary Committee came today after a news conference in which several business groups and other organizations came forward in unison to voice support. Kentucky Smart on Crime said it is time for legislation to help those that have served all their time, paid all their restitution and associated costs. The bill being heard before the committee would expand the scope of expungement to include Class D felonies. Secretary of State Allison Lonergan Grimes spoke in support of the bill.
We have individuals who, because of a mistake that they have made in their past, aren't able to be out there and be a part of the workforce that Kentucky needs to keep our economy growing in the right direction.
Several lawmakers did voice some concern. It did not pass unanimously. One lawmaker stated that according to this bill, it would allow certain records to be erased from the public view. However, the government would still have access to those records. Another lawmaker stated that he thought that it was of concern that some non-violent crimes mentioned in the bill's language are actually, in his opinion, considered violent, such as wanton endangerment and stalking. The bill passed 15-3. It now goes on to the full House. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Kentucky Chamber of Commerce officials say the legislation will help more than 90,000 people who would like to re-enter the workforce. There have now been 4 murders in Lexington this year. The latest victim, Timothy Brown Jr., was shot and killed last night. He was found in the parking lot of a McDonald's on Russell Cave Road. Today, police discussed the spike in violence to start this year. The police chief says it's abnormal and says the murders do not appear to be connected.
These aren't random acts. They are acts that are associated around risk behaviors. So I would caution you, if you're going to a residence that has a high risk behavior, such as selling narcotics, such as gang members, such as any illegal activity that's going to attract other activity, I wouldn't go.
In addition to 4 deadly shootings, police say there have been 6 other assaults involving guns.
After a couple of very cold days, we have a little bit of a warm-up ahead of us. The bad news, though, it's not going to last long. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is here now with an early check of that forecast.
Always a but in there, huh? And it's going to be in here, the warm-up, as we go through the next couple of days. Then bottom's going to fall out again as we go into the weekend. Bottom fell out this morning. We started out the day into the single digits into many areas. 21 Florence. Look at this, Cam. We still have a lot of snow on the ground in northern Kentucky, and with some clouds, no wonder we are colder than everybody else. 30 into Frankfort, 31 on the Mountain Parkway and into the Lexington area. That Mountain Parkway, Cam, still showing a little bit of light snow into the grassy areas. Defender Radar Network, there's a system bypassing us to the north, throwing a couple of wayward flurries into northern Kentucky. Here's what we're looking at. Rain on Friday to some Friday night snow showers. Arctic front arrives as we go into Sunday. That's going to have high winds and snows with that, and by the time we go into Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, it gets brutally cold, and I'm talking about the potential to hit 0 or a little below into the first part of next week. So yes, we want to enjoy the next few days, but we're also going to focus on what is to follow that with a 7-day forecast here in a few minutes, guys.
Chris, thank you. An Amish minister in Kentucky is in jail after he confessed to killing his wife a decade ago. Investigators say Samuel Borntrager called the Barron County Sheriff's Office and reported he poisoned his wife using antifreeze and battery acid. Anna Borntrager died in 2006 when the couple lived in an Amish community in Missouri. Her body was exhumed yesterday as part of the investigation. Investigators say during his confession, Samuel Borntrager said he just didn't love her anymore.
overcome with emotions to think that you would do that to somebody, and especially somebody in the Amish community. I just would have never guessed that he would do that to his own wife.
The couple had 4 children. Samuel Borntrager remarried within a year and had 4 more children. He's awaiting to be taken back to Missouri. Police arrested a Lexington man after they say he punched a pregnant woman in the stomach. James Claiborne is charged with burglary and assault. The victim, who was dating Claiborne, says she kicked him out of her apartment on Winburn Drive, but she says he later broke into her apartment and attacked her. Claiborne was arraigned today.
Fire damaged a home overnight. It started about 3 this morning on Levee Road in Montgomery County near the Powell County line. It's not clear how the fire started. Firefighters called in crews to treat the road to make sure the water used to fight the fire didn't freeze. One person died in a crash on Interstate 65 yesterday afternoon. State police say the driver of a pickup traveling south lost control of it and hit a rock wall in LaRue County. The crash killed the passenger, 59-year-old Deborah Williams. The driver, 69-year-old Michael Williams, was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter is speaking to soldiers at Fort Campbell today. Carter will deliver the speech to the 101st Airborne Division and the 2nd Brigade Combat Team. 500 of those soldiers are expected to deploy to Iraq and Kuwait this year. They'll be gone for about 9 months. Kentucky Utilities and Louisville Gas and Electric are closing several storage ponds that collect coal ash. The closures were prompted by new federal regulations. The changes will cost KU about $678 million and LG&E about $316 million. The environmental improvements will continue through the year 2023.
We have a traffic alert if you travel north on Interstate 75. Blasting at the interchange project in Scott County continues next week. Blasting will take place from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Wednesday. Traffic will be stopped for 15-minute intervals during that blasting. Okay, the day that millions of Powerball players have been dreaming about is finally here. The record-setting jackpot for tonight's drawing has grown to $1.5 billion.
Pretty incredible. A single winner could take home a cash payout of $930 million. David Begnaud is in Tallahassee, Florida, inside the draw studio where the Powerball numbers will be picked.
Tonight's Powerball jackpot is a guaranteed $40 million.
For more than 2 months,
$301.8 million.
We've watched the Powerball jackpot soar.
$949.8 million.
Shattering records and exploding into a nationwide frenzy. At one point last night, lottery officials reported nearly 370,000 tickets were being sold every minute. By tonight's drawing, they expect 85% of the possible number combinations will have been purchased. Still, that leaves a 15% chance there may not even be a winner at all.
Late Show's Powerball tip number 1, pick only winning numbers, okay?
Good luck to all of us.
Jokes aside, some are counting on the power of the people to increase their chances of winning.
Name and the amount.
Billy Joe Carger is running a lottery pool with some of her neighbors near Dallas, Texas.
Our little town's going to be desolate because we're all moving.
The odds are nearly 300 million to 1 that she will actually win the jackpot.
The increased chance of winning by buying multiple tickets still leaves you with such a small chance of winning that it isn't worth the extra money.
If nobody wins tonight, the drawing could be close to $2 billion by Saturday. The drawing tonight happens at 10:59 p.m. Eastern Time. David Begnaud, CBS News, Tallahassee, Florida.
And speaking of that drawing, we don't want you to miss it, but you can see it live right here on WKYT. Again, it airs at 10:59. A woman reunites with a nurse who cared for her as a child. How a role reversal brought them together again.
I always wanted to be the lawyer who represented the little guy, the underdog, the powerless, the voiceless, and to have a chance to even the playing field. What we all want in life is 2 things. We want purpose and peace. The great thing about the work I've done is I've woke up every day with a purpose. And because of the work I've done, I think I've had peace.
Hi, I'm Mark Frisch of Coit Cleaning and Restoration.
Almost 50 years ago, we pioneered the drapery and carpet cleaning business. With our certified technicians, innovative cleaning methods, and your satisfaction guaranteed in writing, WKYT continues to deliver exceptional customer service. For a limited time, choose from any of our cleaning services and save up to 35% off. That's right, 35% off.
Is it any wonder why so many homes in the Lexington area have one thing in common, a WKYT van in the driveway?
Call 1-800-4WKYT today.
Endurance.
Ambitious.
Dedicated.
Fellowship. Purpose. Find yours at Campbellsville University.
The Lazy Boy inventory overstock sell-off is going on now. $5 million of national inventory. Factory direct overstocks will be sold at rock-bottom prices to make room for new merchandise. Markdowns on a huge selection of recliners, sofas, sectionals, chairs, tables, and more. Financing is available. This furniture at these prices won't last long. The inventory overstock sell-off. Don't miss it. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
Can't wait to try these wings.
I know. And apparently this spicy honey barbecue sauce is so good, it'll change your life.
Yeah?
Mom and Dad, can I borrow the car?
Our son's in a boy band?
We have a son?
Life-changing? Maybe. Indescribably good? Definitely. The boneless wings meal with spicy honey barbecue sauce, served with crinkle fries and a small drink. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, hope you're having a good afternoon. Certainly a better feel to the air than what we started out the day with this morning. A thermometer in our region as low as 3 degrees up in Cynthiana into Harrison County. The rest of us, we were a balmy 5 to 10 above zero. Right now in Lexington, you see the clouds that are back. And those clouds are actually signifying a little warmer air that is pulling on into town. 31, though it feels like 20, courtesy of a wind that is coming from the south and the southwest. So it's a little milder wind. And if anything, after a drop this evening, you may see your back porch thermometer rising a little bit as we go through the overnight. Most areas are flirting with freezing until you throw the winds into the mix. It feels a lot colder. 10 into Covington for a wind chill. If you're out this evening into tomorrow morning, those numbers are gradually going to come up a little bit. So we may bottom out 25, 26 degrees tomorrow morning, upper 20s, low 30s, southern Kentucky, mid 30s tomorrow afternoon. 48, 49, 50, 51 or 52, southern Kentucky, all a good possibility. And with dry weather tomorrow. So definitely a day you want to circle on the calendar to get out and take advantage of. It is the middle of January and it's going to get a lot colder. System that is skirting by to our north is trying with those clouds that we're seeing to spit out a flurry or two into northern Kentucky. Majority of that action though heading toward Columbus, heading toward Cleveland and Pittsburgh, not so much toward Kentucky. What we are left with, those clouds zipping on through here, and watch the numbers tonight. They bottom out mid-20s and then rise first thing tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, with enough sunshine, we're going to hit 50. It's that simple. Tomorrow evening, not bad. Clouds will increase. Then we go into Friday, and all of a sudden we go from not bad to bad, like that. 7 o'clock Friday morning, rain is arriving from southwest. Some locally heavy downpours as the day wears on. That's with the system that is zipping across the region. That will pull down some colder air as the evening wears on. So by Friday night into Saturday morning, anything that flies and then through the day on Saturday will likely be in snow flurry or snow shower form. Then we go into next week, starting late Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. Boy, the Arctic is wide, wide open right on into Kentucky. Look at those cold colors. Look at the wind streamlines here. Coming in from northwest to southeast, we have a chance Monday or Tuesday to see 0 or a little below with those thermometers. And it's the first, it's really a wintry weekend that is taking shape. The first system that moves in on Saturday, not that big a deal. A coating on a local scale, a possibility with some snow showers. Sunday, here comes the Arctic front, snow squalls with some accumulations, a pretty good bet as the day wears on. Maybe similar to yesterday, but with colder temperatures this go around. High winds as temperatures really crash, and by Monday, it is bitterly cold, closer to 0 to start out the day. As a matter of fact, that's where I have the low on Monday with a big old shiny goose egg showing up there to start off a brand new week, and a high at only 15 degrees. That is why I keep saying to get out and enjoy tomorrow.
Just awful to have tomorrow and then to have that.
You know what will really
awful.
stink is if we get to 0 next week without snow on the ground.
Yes.
I mean, how bad is that,
Yeah.
right? At least if it's going to be cold like that, give us something pretty
You can
to look at.
tolerate it
You
if
can
that's the
tolerate
case.
it, yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
CBS Sports will unveil some new technology for next month's Super Bowl. A replay system will give viewers a 360-degree perspective and higher resolution than ever before. CBS will also use 8 custom-molded pylons housing cameras to film the goal lines and sidelines for both teams. And you can see Super Bowl 50 right here on WKYT. That's on February 7th. The two of us,
Yep.
I think probably Chris, will all be here for it.
We'll see you then.
Yeah. A role reversal led to a sweet reunion for 2 women from Wisconsin.
Carrie Annelfinger shows us how a patient and beloved nurse met again decades later.
Oh, thank you.
Lynn Bartow settles in for her 3-hour rheumatoid arthritis treatment at Freighter Hospital's infusion clinic.
It keeps my joints from being terribly painful.
Helping to ease her pain is a nurse who knows what it's like to be a patient. When Nicole Cron was a few minutes old, her small intestines twisted, and she had to have most of it removed. She had to be closely monitored for the first 5 years of her life at Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. Her mother says Nicole, who liked to call herself Nene, became particularly attached to one of the nurses.
I'd say we're going to go to the doctor, and she'd say she's going to go see Sweet Lenny.
Nene and Sweet Lenny even ended up on the cover of the hospital's nursing magazine in a story about long-term care. Cron not only survived, she thrived.
I just think that my past has definitely shaped the nurse that I am.
The past caught up with a 30-year-old this summer when she tended to a patient with rheumatoid arthritis, a semi-retired nurse in the hospital's neurology clinic.
I said, oh, you know, like, was that where you spent most of your career? And she's like, no, I spent a lot of my career, I spent my early career at the GI clinic at Children's.
That's when it hit them both.
I said, you're Nene. And she said, yes, I am. And we suddenly realized we had this connection that went way back to her being a toddler. And I'm like, that toddler is now taking care of me. And I think I spent the rest of the day crying through that infusion.
Cron says she was too young to remember much about that time, but she is sure Sweet Lenny's kindness influenced her.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a small world or if it was meant for me to take care of her after all these years.
The pair now see each other every 5 weeks for Bartos's appointment.
I was given a gift to know that 44 years of nursing, I did make a difference.
With the roles reversed, Nene is now the one providing comfort to Sweet Lenny. Carrie Annelfinger, Associated Press.
Magnificent music, incredible speakers, all coming together to honor Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about with more on the special services happening this weekend.
Tonight, when you've got rich relatives,
Is this your same-sex partner?
I will be if that gets me in the will.
it pays to act rich.
Did the rest of our staff arrive yet?
And we mean everybody.
Darling!
A new Two Broke Girls.
Maria, look alive!
You're one to talk.
Then, Mike and Molly's not only good,
I promise it's fun.
it's good for you.
What's so fun about this?
New Mike and Molly after a new Two Broke Girls. CBS tonight.
I'm Alex Trebek. If you're age 50 to 85, I have an important message about security. Write down the number on your screen so you can call when I finish. The lock I want to talk to you about isn't the one on your door. This is a lock for your life insurance, a rate lock that guarantees your rate can never go up at any time for any reason. But be careful. Many policies you see do not have one. But you can get a lifetime rate lock through the Colonial Penn program. Call this number to learn more. This plan was designed with a rate lock for people on a fixed income who want affordable life insurance that's simple to get. Coverage options for just $9.95 a month, less than 35 cents a day. Act now, and your rate will be locked in for life. It will never increase. Guaranteed. This is lifelong coverage that can never be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Guaranteed. And your acceptance is guaranteed, with no health questions. You cannot be turned down because of your health. Call for your information kit and read about this rate lock for yourself. You'll also get a free gift with great information. Both are free, with no obligation. Don't miss out. Call for information, then decide. Read about the 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. Don't wait. Call this number now.
Call 1-800-440-4200 for your free information and a free gift. There's no obligation. That's 1-800-440-4200. Or visit us online at colonialpenn.com. That number again is 1-800-440-4200. 1-800-440-4200. Call now.
Our cancer patients are really special people. They're determined, they're tough, and they're such wonderful people to care for. It's really great to offer patients the standard of care, but then we have trials so that we can also give them the cutting edge, where we explain to the patient this is the standard, but this might be even better. Because of the excellent work we do, we've received an outstanding award from the Commission on Cancer. I'm Dr. Hain, and we treat every one of our patients like family at Baptist Health.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you, like WKYT on Facebook.
The life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. will be honored this weekend.
And churches across the area have planned events to remember Dr. King. Our Deanne Stevens is out and about to show us what's been planned.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. We are preparing for a big weekend here at Central Christian Church and other churches around town, where they are all coming together to honor Dr. Martin Luther King this weekend with a special community service. Marion is with us, and he's from Main Street Baptist Church. And this is what I'm so excited about, the magnificent music that's going to be playing this weekend. 25 to 30 different churches represented in the choir, Marion?
Yes.
Okay, and what are we going to hear? You're getting ready to play a piece for us that we're going to hear on Sunday.
Lift every voice and sing.
Let Marion take it away. Imagine the voices that will come together this weekend for this special service. Kenneth Goffin is with us from Quinn Chapel AME Church. Kenneth, you guys have been working hard on putting this service together. Tell us all about it and the very special speaker you have coming in.
Well, the service promises to be an inspirational gathering of various faith communities right here in the Lexington area. It's been going on, as Pastor David said, for a number of years, but we're looking forward to a bigger and better event this year. Presiding Elder Darby is one of the presiding elders in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. He is presiding elder over the district that is adjacent to the district where Mother Emanuel is. He has been instrumental in the civil rights movement in South Carolina. He's one of the leaders who helped to get the flag down in Columbia and helped to get the flag off of the property there. In fact, he's being honored this weekend while he's here with us. He's being honored in Charleston for his work in the civil rights era.
And Pastor David here at Central Christian Church, this is a tradition for us here. Talk a bit about that and give everybody that special invitation to come be a part of it.
Oh, absolutely. 25 years, this is the 26th year. To celebrate on Sunday at 6 p.m. This sanctuary will be full. The choir loft will be full. It's about Dr. King, the beloved community. And one of the joys that I've had is simply the relationships that I have with my brothers and sisters, faith leaders in this community itself. We're living that out by serving in this fashion. Come on, everyone.
Come on out. Be a part of the service happening here this weekend, 6 o'clock on Sunday, and enjoy the magnificent music as well. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. Take it away, Marion.
Beautiful. beautiful sound there. Well, these restaurant employees were pretty excited about their lottery pool. The reason all their celebrating quickly turned to disappointment next, and take a look at this.
With savings up to half off, as much as $1,000 in cash rewards, and doorbusters all through the store, how can our deal of the decade get any better? By giving you 0 interest for 48 months with no money down. Hurry!
Nobody beats P-Rats.
There's a Kentucky Farm Bureau insurance agent in every county in Kentucky. Someone who's always there for you in times of need. And most other times, too. Kentucky Farm Bureau. Big on commitment.
After you're injured at work, a lot of times the insurance company will attempt to call you, take statements. Don't speak to them until you speak with an experienced workers' compensation attorney.
The insurance company will attempt to settle your case for pennies on the dollar. Before you talk to the insurance company, call us first.
Our job is to make sure you get all the money you deserve.
Call Morgan, Collins, and Yeast. 1-800-55-WILDCAT.
Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield wants to know, what's your health insurance IQ?
True or false? A lot of people qualify for financial help to lower the cost of their health insurance. False? Actually, millions of people have qualified for financial help on their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. A family of 4 making about $95,000 a year or less may qualify. You are required by law to have health coverage.
True.
Yep. Most people were required to have health coverage starting in 2014.
Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield can help protect your family's health with one easy call.
Did you know all their plans cover doctor visits, prescription drugs, hospital stays, and more?
Yes, with $0 preventive care. The deadline to enroll is earlier this year, so don't wait. Call now for free expert guidance and a free quote. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Call us at 1-800-769-7581 for a free quote. That's 1-800-769-7581.
Invest in your rest and save up to half off. Buy any ultra premium mattress set and choose from a huge selection of free items like this 1080p LED TV. Free! Plus get up to 72 months, 0 interest. That's 6 years. Now that's the deal of the decade.
Nobody beats P-Rats.
I'm sure some people out there had frozen pipes. I know at my house this morning I turned on the faucets and I thought for a second, oh boy, they frozen because they were kind of spinning, you know, for a second. It kind of scares you. And then the water was okay. So keep my fingers crossed.
It's that time of year where you have to really remember that, Chris Bailey. And we're going to get out of that for just a brief moment and be right back in it, aren't we?
Pipes frozen this morning. They'll thaw the next few days. Then the frozen pipes alert going to kick into high gear Sunday night into Monday night as temperatures threaten to go towards 0 or below both of those nights. Short term, dealing with a good-looking sky for the most part out there this afternoon. Take you back to the noon hour. Watch a little increase in clouds on and off as the day wears on. Those clouds kind of scooting their way in from the west and northwest with a little system that is bypassing us to the north, giving us, though, a heck of a skyline that is showing up. Should be a beautiful sunset for much of central and eastern Kentucky getting ready to take place. Defender Radar Network trying to pick up on a snow flurry or two into northern Kentucky. The majority of that action, though, is well off to our north and northeast into parts of the Buckeye State. Although, as we get into the weekend, I've got more in the way of harsh winter weather that is blowing back into town. Right now, let's check on traffic. Here's Officer Don.
Overall view, traffic slow. We see some spots where we expect, like outbound Nicholasville Road coming up on the circle and on Harrodsburg Road. We had a report of a collision. This one's on the outer loop of Tates Creek, just happened a little bit ago on the exit ramp. Not a major impact there. Drive times onto Versailles. It looks like we're decent there. Into Scott County on 75. No surprises, at least. And 75 into Madison County across the Claysbury Bridge. Looks good. Now back to the studio.
All right, a Powerball false alarm caught on video and a puppy in need of rescue.
It is the video that will have you talking. Take a look at this. Video captured the ecstatic moment employees at a restaurant in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey thought thought they hit the $950 million Powerball jackpot on Saturday night. The bartender got a text message listing what he thought was the winning numbers in the Powerball jackpot. Well, turns out they were the winning numbers from last Wednesday. The group isn't giving up yet. They've started a new pool for tonight's drawing. Gotta be sure of those numbers.
Just had the rug pulled out from underneath them. Rescuers in Illinois had to save a puppy from a strange situation. A little guy managed to get stuck in a pipe. Since he couldn't move, officials say that they made the rescue a little easier. The puppy is now safe and being cared for at a shelter until he can be adopted. Adorable.
Look at those little faces.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for being here with us. Stick with us because here's what we're working on for you now at 5 o'clock.